Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Today is the last Carl Jung's Archetype. The last one of the series. You know what that one is? It's the magician. Magician. When I was a young child of like 8 or 9, there was a TV show called The Magician, with Bill Bixby in it. How many of you remember that? I used to love watching that show. And he would do all these magic tricks. He'd get on stage. He'd do all these magic tricks. And then he would, I think, try to like solve crimes or something too. It was a long time ago. But this is the last one of the series, the musician archetype of Carl Jung's. I've covered all of them now after this video, and I had fun doing them. I hope that you enjoyed watching them, and the next video will be about something entirely different. It won't be about any more archetypes, okay? I promise you. This is the last one for those of you who are, who weren't too thrilled about the series, but it was kind of fun doing a series. I like that idea, of doing a series. As one of the most common types, magicians represent great power, okay? They're also referred to as an alchemist, a prophet, a hermit, a shaman. I think a shaman is like the term that people use today. They're like healers. Now let's see. The magician archetypes are not outlines or cookie cutter templates like some of the other ones are. The magician is magic. Let's see. A magician is a character who's all about power. They can use that power for evil or for good. And I think that's what, in that TV series with Bill Bixby, the magician, I think he used his magic or whatever power for good, for fighting villains. I think so. It was a long time ago. I think he did it to solve cases, Magicians are magical, okay? They're like fantasy characters. You know what comes to mind? Remember Oz, the Wizard of Oz? The Great Oz. Now, wasn't the Great Oz a musician? He really wasn't. He was just an ordinary man standing behind the curtain. But he displayed himself like all the great, all-powerful, all-knowing Oz on the screen, right? What do magician archetypes really do? They're very clever. They're disciplined. They're intelligent. They're omnipotence. Now, omnipotent means they're like God. And that's what comes to mind when omnipotence, the Great Oz in the Wizard of Oz, for me, because he certainly was omnipotent. He thought he was God. He thought he was like a master. Everyone was fearful of him. Remember, the Cowardly Lion was shaking in his boots at the Great Oz? And that's what comes to mind. And he was like that. Everyone looked up to him like a shaman. Perceptive, they're powerful and wise. Now, but they also, here's the shadow side of the musician. They can be deceptive. Now, how is a musician deceptive? Think about it. When a musician is on stage doing his so-called magic, he's deceiving the audience. He'll have a woman come up and she'll lie in a box, and he'll saw the box in half, and he's making the audience think that he's cutting this woman's body in half. Or making a woman disappear. Go into that, box, and then I'll say abracadabra, open the box, and oh, look it, the woman isn't here. Look, she's gone. I made her disappear. As if only we could really make some people disappear. Wouldn't that be great? I'd like that, Only kidding. So that is being deceitful, right? I mean, every magic show, the magician is deceiving you. He's not really making a woman disappear. He's not really sawing a woman in half. It's also manipulative because he's manipulating the audience to believe in his magic. So it's all a show. Let's see, what other shadow sides are there of the magician? Arrogance, big egos, just like Wizard of Oz. That's another example. He was very arrogant. He was snotty, He didn't want to help anyone because, he really couldn't. What was he, Wasn't he some sort of, didn't he have some side cart or some thing on the road where he did like crystal ball? What are those people called? Fortune tellers or something? There's another example of that kind of thing, right? When you get your how many people ever got their fortune told? Every time I drive by in Dedham, when I go to the Dedham Mall, I see on the Washington Street, there's this person who tells fortunes. Of course, I never went in, but yeah, I see that sign, read your fortune and such, and this, and how's she gonna tell me what's gonna happen to me? That's a bunch of hooey. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe it. And I certainly wouldn't put my money down for someone to tell me that. Anyway, and what else? They're indifferent, obsessive, and selfish. Now, name some magicians out there, and I've already gave you a few, but here it says Doctor Strange. Okay, how many people like science fiction? All you Star Wars, fans out there. I had a friend in college who loved to watch Doctor Who. I'd be on the phone with her and she'd say, I gotta go, Doctor Who's on. Yeah! I never watched it once, but Doctor Strange and Loki are examples of magicians from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Doctor Strange, after losing all the power he had as a famous surgeon, was relentless in his pursuit of knowledge and his resulting magical power to become a successful wizard. So wizards. This led to him to becoming a sorcerer supreme. Never watched Doctor Who, so Loki, I don't even know who that is, desired power to get out of Thor's shadow. Okay, Thor. Now I know Thor. This led him to make a deal with Thanos and invade Earth with an army of aliens. How many people know what I'm talking about? Because I'm not into these characters. I'm not into this at all. Or what about Regina George of Mean Girls? Is also an example of the magician. I've heard about Mean Girls, but I don't know this Regina George. Anyone watch Mean Girls? Regina thrives on power she has at school and uses it to get everything she wants. People are in awe of her, want to be her, or want to defeat her. When Regina has that power taken from her, we see that she really doesn't have much left. So, same with the Great and Magical Oz, when you take away the curtain and all his little gadgets back there, like in a video game, then what do you have? You just have an ordinary man. You don't have much, right? So those are some of the examples of the magician. I think of magicians as kind of like tricksters, Like I said, they're deceiving, they're manipulative, they're tricksters. You could even have some like in a card game. something like that, you know, kind of like the con man, so to speak. That, yeah. So I didn't think I would have too much to say about the last archetype, and that's why I purposely left this for the last one. Do I identify with the musician? No, not really. Not at all. I don't know if any of you do. But since we're at the very end now, let's see if I can name them all. Oh, God, put myself on the spot. I don't have them written down. I can't do them in order. I know there's the creator, there's a gesture, there's a hero, there's a caregiver. What's the traveler one? The journey guy. It's not called the traveler. It's the one who travels or does a journey. I forget. What's his name? But you know which one I'm talking about, right? Let's see. There's, of course, the magician. This is the last one. The lover, right? Did I say the gesture? The gesture. Let's see. That's 8. The hero, I think I've already said that. The ruler. Remember when I had the ruler? The ruler. What other ones were there? I have a very bad memory, but I know that because I wrote them all down on a piece of paper, and then I crossed each one off as I did it. So, even though I probably didn't name them all because my mind is mush, let me know which one you identify with and drop it in the comments. And that wraps up all the Carl Jung's archetypes. Okay, take